everybody. Oh, wait, shit. Wait, what's my intro?
Hillary.
Okay, I got it now. Hey, everybody, and welcome to Toy Geeks. My name is Jake Lapfelder from Geek Dad Life.
And I'm Dan Larson from Secret Galaxy.
And we're here to dive into your favorite toy lines 1 year at a time. And Dan, we're kicking off a new series, this time dedicated to my personal favorite toy line of all time, Kenner's Real Ghostbusters. And we're kind of coinciding this with Ghostbusters Day, which is one thing, but also kind of coinciding with a dear friend's book that's about to go live and be in people's hands. One of the main authors of that book is with us today, Craig Goldberg. Welcome, my friend.
Thank you for having me. I appreciate it.
Excited to be here. Excited to talk. I mean, I'm sure you love talking about Ghostbusters, Craig, because you have a Ghostbusters podcast.
Listen.
You wrote a book about it.
None of those things mean that I like talking about Ghostbusters. It means I figured out how to monetize it.
Yeah. That or you're trapped in a hell of your own making. Yeah.
Yes.
I said I liked it once. I just liked it. I didn't love it.
Yeah. I liked it. It was my 5th favorite Bill Murray movie. No, I love Ghostbusters and have dedicated a giant portion of my child and adult life to talking about it, consuming it, collecting it. And I'm super excited to be here. Thank you, guys.
Probably more of your adult life than child life, right?
Yeah, actually, because Ghostbusters kind of faded away in 1991, and then I didn't think about it again until probably 1999.
Okay.
Yeah.
I was gonna check into your time on that because I feel like, Craig, you and I are like kindred spirits.
Sure.
In a lot of ways. We're about the same age. We both, have obsessive Ghostbusters as kids and adults. We both have the same profession. We both, host things on the internet. We're both in bands, like we're both musicians.
Yeah.
And so, I was kind of curious to get you on the show today, kind of talk about your history with Ghostbusters and the toy line. Because I'm curious to see like how yours compares to mine in my childhood and that. But before we go down that rabbit hole, Dan, I feel like we do need to just check in on you and your relationship to Real Ghostbusters as the elder statesman of
it's
this
real short. There's not much to talk about, honestly. It will kick off with I saw Ghostbusters for the first time at a drive-in in Middletown, Rhode Island, 1984.
Nice.
Double feature with Rocky 2, maybe
in 84,
3, maybe right. It was whatever Rocky movie was around there, probably 3 or 4, whatever. Because 4 is 85, right? Isn't that one where we beat Russia?
Yeah, it's the Russian one.
Yeah, so maybe it was 3. But it was it was at the drive-in, and we had never seen it before, didn't know anything about it. And I remember my dad when the librarian turns around right at the beginning of the movie.
Yeah,
I was like, he's like, what kind of movie is it? What are we watching here? Like, what is? He's not from Brooklyn or anything. I'm just what
are we watching here? I like that.
Yeah. I'm walking here. I'm walking.
Yeah, like as if we were watching some kind of like smut film, some sort of like like I thought we were watching a Disney movie or something. But I loved the first movie. First movie was fantastic. Saw it several times after that. I liked the second movie. I thought it was great. And then did not think about Ghostbusters again until 2016 maybe.
Wow.
I missed the cartoon. Something else was on. I was watching something else. I was doing something else. It just did not connect with me. And I'm not going to put it on how old I was, because there's people my age,
sure,
10 years older than you, whatever, that loved it, that watched the cartoon, all the I have since watched several episodes of it. We've covered it on our show.
Yep.
So I know, how creative it was and what they did with the franchise, but it didn't connect with me. And the toys at the time weren't something I connected with either.
Yeah.
And then some of those, the sort of like toys after my time, Ninja Turtles and into the 90s toys, I followed through my younger brother. But
Yeah, I was gonna ask because your younger brother's like our age.
Yeah, he
like,
was
was
born
he
in- he
not
was born-
into Ghostbusters? Or
he was born in '85, and it just didn't connect with him either. He just
Interesting.
completely
Yeah.
missed it. He was Ninja Turtles all the way. Like,
Yeah.
we raised him with those Ninja Turtles VHS tapes.
Yeah. No, I mean I had those too for sure. For me, it was like Ghostbusters, Turtles, and then but like Ghostbusters was the number
Sports.
one.
Turtles.
Yeah.
Sports was after Turtles.
But okay, so there is any toys. Did you even clock it when you're shoplifting from KB Toys in 1987?
Oh no, because
Wow.
it's the characters didn't even look like the guys from the movie.
True. Okay,
Like,
so were you like,
I don't
that's
even-
not Ghostbusters?
Yeah, what is this? How many Ghostbusters cartoons are there? I said 1, 2. What is it, like 10? What's going on?
Your dad was there and he's like, what kind of toy line is this?
What am I buying you here? Ghosts?
It's not the thing with the librarian, is it?
Yeah. Never again at that drive-in. I'll tell you what.
Wait, now he's Southern? I don't know.
Well, Ghostbusters famously was released the same day as Gremlins, so that would have been quite a double feature if
Oh, dang. That's a good point. That's
you were
fair.
able to see both of those. Yeah.
Okay. Well, I guess I'll share my story, and then Craig, you're the guest.
Okay.
You'll close us out here. But
Sure.
for me, I don't know why I was introduced to this film, to be completely honest. I know that when I was 3, which was in 1988, it was for my birthday that year in 1988. It was all about Ghostbusters, and by that point, I had already, and I have video of it and I have memories of it. I'd already had the VHS tape. It was already wearing it out. Already had Peter Venkman, not this specific Peter Venkman, but I had the Peter Venkman toy. And I vividly remember seeing this toy for the first time, which I'll save that for when we get into it. But and so it was just like I just obsessed over it. I was just absolutely obsessed. And my parents are all about just like feeding into that obsession, I guess. So I just had, in that birthday that year, it's great. I have it on VHS tape at Chuck E. Cheese in El Cajon, California. I got the Ecto 1. I got a bunch of the figures, and it was just kind of cemented. I had everything. I had the Firehouse. I had both the Ecto 1, Ecto 1A, Proton Pack, Ghost Trap, every single figure from every single series until Slimed Heroes.
I'm getting so jealous. Even though I have all of everything you just said, I have behind me.
Literally right behind
But
your
I'm
head,
yeah. God, I want all of that.
And it was just it was ingrained in my personality. Like, my parents would be like, Jay, you're a Ghostbuster. I was like, yeah. And I had the suit. I walked around in the suit all the time. Like, there's pictures of me wearing there was like a little kid flight suit.
Yep.
And I wore it from, I think I got the Ghostbusters 2 one in 1989. I think I wore that flight suit from 89 to 90, 91, 92 to the point where like my almost like I was, my legs were coming out of it. I was too big for it. And so I don't know what it was about that franchise, but it just was always with me. Yes, getting the internet in 1999 in my household was when I found Ghostbusters figure or GBAF, Ghostbusters Action Figure Web was the website that was there at the time that was just to the action figures. But even the first time I used the internet in 1997, I believe, my buddy Manoli Yanakakis had the internet. I think I've name dropped him before.
Nice.
Maybe, I don't know. It's a very name you never forget. He had the internet, and that's where I first saw the rumors for the third movie and just printed out stuff off of the internet. I took it home, and just the level of obsession was unreal, probably unhealthy. And so it's always been my absolute favorite love. And
do you think it was just the premise of the film that just like you liked ghosts, you liked the visual effects? Like,
I don't understand it. Maybe the iconography, maybe just like the song, the Ghostbusters logo, Stay Puft Marshmallow Man, the ability to trap ghosts, like the playability of just playing as a Ghostbuster. Like, I had no athletic ability, so I wasn't going to pretend I could be a sports star, but I could be a Ghostbuster. These guys look pretty normal, Like I don't
These
know.
guys
I
are
just
hired guns.
yeah, just like
they're teachers.
yeah, like Bill Murray.
Professors.
My stepdad had a receding hairline, and Bill Murray has a receding hairline. I was like, he's a normal guy. Like whatever. Like I could be this guy. Like I don't know.
For me, I was I've actually thought about this a lot. Like what it like obviously like this is the time period where everybody has their thing. So like if you were really into Masters of the Universe, that was your thing. If you're really into G.I. Joe, whatever it was. I was introduced to Ghostbusters. I was born in 84. I guarantee I was watching it on VHS by the time I was a year and a half or 2 years old. My parents were huge comedy fans. So to me, it was like I was watching Caddyshack and Stripes and, Ghostbusters or Back to the, I was all of these things. This was just my earliest memories of consuming media was, those types of movies. I mean, one of the biggest things my dad and myself still bond over is like quoting Stripes. So it's like Bill Murray was, there was no option other than you will be a Bill Murray fan, right? Then I think it's just the way the show was. Ghostbusters was such a phenomenon, like was such a pop culture, biggest grossing film of all time, biggest comedy of all time at the time. And then when the cartoon came out, because it was syndicated and it was on 5 days a week, it was very available. We were like the kind of kids, like not every family was, everybody was different, right? Our family was like TV in every room. This is what we do. We watch TV. And at the age of 3, because I developed the obsession by time my 4th birthday, 88, which is the same year we're just talking about, Jay, all Ghostbusters plates, hats, sweatshirt, getting the toys. By the time I'm 6 or 7, I've moved on to Ninja Turtles. So there's like this very this huge period of time, 3 years tops when I'm obsessed with this, and then I move on to other things. Same thing. Internet, 96, 97.
No, I was going to say the cartoon Ghostbusters is unique in the idea that the daily series and the weekly series were running at the same time.
Yes.
So you were getting 6 days a week of Ghostbusters cartoon.
Yeah. And it's that was like we do cover that in the book extensively. Like that was such a unique, never before done, move, right? For a syndicated series like that to be running along the same time as the studio series. So and with different writing teams, and like there's people who have like hardline opinions about, I prefer, this versus that. Here, the weird thing for me,
whatever they're wrong if it's not the syndicated series is the best one.
So the weird thing for me though is like the movies were my number 1 and the toys were like my 1B.
Interesting. Okay.
The show,
obviously
I loved it. Obviously I watched it. Obviously I still care about it deeply. We just participated in writing this book, but it's not it was the movies and the toys. Obviously the toys are based on the show, but are also kind of their own universe. So it's weird. But what I wanted to say was when I got the internet, 96, 97, and the first thing I've talked about this so many times, but like literally AOL, boom, plugged in, we're on. Is Ghostbusters 3 happening? It's the first thing I ever searched on the internet.
Finally.
Right. Yeah. Finally, I get these answers. And I found Ghostbusters HQ, which was my go-to Ghostbusters fan site, ran by Troy Benjamin, who I would later stalk and force him to be my friend, and we co-wrote the book together.
So cool.
That's great.
And then Chris Stewart ran Proton Charging, and like obviously years later they would team up. In my head as a child, I was like, oh, they hate each other. They have rival websites. There's no way they could ever be friends. Oh yeah, in 1997, I was like, these guys will never have a podcast together. But they ended up, launching the CrossRip podcast. But yeah, it wasn't until 99 when the DVD came out for the 15-year anniversary. Big deal. That's the first DVD commentary I ever watched, with Harold Ramis and Ivan Reitman and Joe Medjuck. And they did it like Mystery Science Theater 3000
Mhm.
style, where you see their silhouettes. And I was like, well, this is the gold standard for DVD commentaries. If I don't see the back of your head in shadow form, I don't even want to mess with it. And then
that
really
DVD set, can I say that DVD release, that thing was, I don't know, maybe because I was so obsessed with it and I was so excited, like reading all
menu.
the menu, and just like, oh, there's just so much, it's so chock full of things, like being within the online community at the time, just being so excited about that.
Seeing
DVD
deleted
release.
scenes from Ghostbusters is just crazy. But anyways, and then obviously as I became an adult and there was more, the 25th anniversary, Mattel got the license and there was the video game and so on and so on. But as far as the toys go, we just talked about this on Toy Anxiety this week. My earliest memory, I know I had toys earlier than this, but I remember being in the back of my mom's car with my cousin, my older cousin, and we had Peter and Egon and Bad to the Bone and Slimer and Stay Puft. And like, that's my earliest memory of playing with toys. And maybe that early memory is what breeds, the obsession. Because as I stated this week, not to get deep or existential, the thin line between nostalgia and, mortality-induced depression is very thin, right? So I just love Ghostbusters. Reminds me of my childhood, but it also has brought me so many friendships in my life and opened up doors. And I've literally gotten to do things that I've never would have been able to do otherwise. So franchise means a lot to me.
You talking about your dad being like obsessed with Bill Murray and like that era of I think that's probably how it got introduced, because my stepdad just obsessed with Bill Murray. Again, Stripes, one of his favorite, like just quotes, same thing. Like every time we get on an airplane or on a bus or something, he quotes Stripes, the John Candy line. Is there a movie on this flight? A movie every time. And it's just like, Dad, I got you.
We know.
Get it.
But it is fun. But it is fun.
So I think that's why it was there. But I think both my father and my stepfather, they're both kind of jocks and I was not. And so but I think so they always they never like shunned my nerdity in that way. But I feel like Ghostbusters was the thing I was so nerdy about, but he loved Bill Murray. So that's how we could kind of like exist on the same plane.
and listen, I was born in March of '84, so I'm 3 months old or 4 months old when Ghostbusters comes out. But you got to remember, when Ghostbusters came out, it was not intended to be like a franchise that would be turned into a kid's show. It was just the next run of that class of Ivan Reitman, Harold Ramis, Dan Aykroyd, Bill Murray. They had done Caddyshack and Blues Brothers, and it was just, and that's why I think a lot of this discussion happened in 2016, where it's like that franchise means different things to different age groups. Where if you were 20 when you saw Ghostbusters the first time, probably thought it was a great comedy. You might be surprised to find there's like a Star Wars level fandom for it.
Yes.
Right? Like, what other movies? Like, is there a Beverly Hills Cop franchise I don't know about? In Dayton,
it's true.
Ohio?
It's kind of wild, and it's great. And that's where I really do like the 2016 movie. I do think it has flaws, but I enjoyed it and I laughed. I thought it was a funny movie. But what I loved is I took my dad, who isn't really a nerd. He's nerdy about Star Wars, but he's more jock than nerd. But he loved the 2016 movie. He thought it was really funny, and he was just like, I was just like, well, this is not a deep dive in the 2016 movie, but
so Jay, are we going there? Are we going there?
And it brought us Ecto Cooler, which should mean something to people.
Which you recently drank, or Quip did. Somebody did.
No, I tried to get him to, but he kind of bailed out on it, the big baby.
Don't blame him.
So you had a period of not being a Ghostbuster guy then.
I don't want to say that I wasn't like a Ghostbuster guy, but like I didn't.
Yeah.
It was more like, you go through when I'm the kind of personality, and I think Jay's probably, this is where we have a lot of
Mhm.
commonality. When I get into something, I go hard. So
Yeah.
whatever I'm into at the moment, that is my life. So post Ninja Turtles, I got into like basketball cards. I was obsessed with basketball cards. And then at some point in like 7th grade, I collected cologne because somebody told me that was a cool thing to do. So I was all in on cologne. Didn't really wear cologne, but I had all of them.
Did you have like
insane,
a
right?
trench coat? You just open it up and had all the colognes.
I got a rookie bottle of Dracar Noir right here.
Yeah. None of that fake stuff either. Not our version of Polo Sport, the real Polo Sport. Yeah, and then you know, I was always really into music. So if I would get into a new band or something, I would just obsess over it. And I didn't really kind of tap back into like nerd or collector culture till probably 8th, 9th grade when I got really into pro wrestling and collecting figures.
Yes, I remember you because you were on the Beetlejuice episode, I think, or one of them. And you mentioned that was your entryway back into.
That was my entryway back in.
Yeah.
And it's actually interesting, and I hope I didn't tell the story then, but I'll just tell it really quickly. When eBay first came out, I was early on eBay. I had an account in like 97 or 98. And I bought at the time, I was buying wrestling figures, and I was like, oh, Ghostbusters. That's something I really liked. And I bought an on-card green ghost and another, I think maybe a Stay Puft or a Peter Venkman. I got them for like $20, like nothing, 15. I mean, I remember literally buying things off eBay and putting cash in an envelope and sending it in the mail. Like it was
I remember getting money
a Wild West.
Money orders. Yeah. I was there for that.
That was the first thing I bought on eBay, was going to find, you know, these Ghostbuster toys. And most of the listings were just descriptions. Like a lot didn't have pictures. Like,
oh, right.
Did you all go buy blind listings, essentially just like what the description said, and you hope that it was the right thing? I did that a lot.
Yeah,
I tried to stick with listings that had photos, but sometimes you didn't have choice. It's a pretty good price. Throw some money at it, see what happens.
You know, I never.
Not everybody has a scanner. Okay,
right?
Cameras were really expensive.
You got to remember.
We should have known Toyota at the time. He had that sweet scanner setup that he talked about.
The one where you like. I listened to him talk about this. Like,
and it was like, like scanned it like a vacuum cleaner or something.
So funny.
Okay, so Craig, did you reconfigure kind of buy everything that you had as a kid? Was there a period you lost all the Ghostbusters? Or you still have it? You brought it out of the attic? Like, what was?
By time high school hit, or maybe even middle school, like everything. When we moved, I was raised in Chicago. We moved to Georgia when I was 7. I'm sure half of our stuff was just thrown away or sold before the move. I do have memories of like my garage in Georgia with like, you know, pieces of my Defiant and some of my Police Academy figures, but is where the Ghostbusters stuff ended up probably a garage sale. I did not have any of that. And honestly, like when Abby and I started dating, so that's 2008. I did not own one toy. I had some old collectibles and stuff in a storage unit that was at my mom's that flooded, and I lost whatever was in there was gone. It's like autographs and that kind of stuff. But I literally, when Abby and I got our first apartment, I had 2 action figures. There was like a Batman figure she bought for me at like a CVS, and a Jack Osborne figure that she bought for me as a joke. Because
nice.
Remember
that? Remember when that was a thing?
Right. Was the cologne collection in the storage unit? Did you lose that in the flood?
The Great Flood. Yeah, it was my stepbrother that got me into cologne. I looked up to him until I didn't. You ever have those people in your life you look up to until you realize, like, what
and you realize,
so
like,
anyway,
yeah.
No, he's a good guy, but it's just the colognes didn't make it. But yeah, so I didn't have any. It wasn't until probably we moved to Raleigh, really, 2010, when we had any level of like a couple extra bucks a month, and we would start going to flea markets, and that's where I started. That was around the time Matty Collector was happening, and I was like, I didn't really know much about Masters of the Universe. But I was like, God, these toys are so awesome. And then like when they started doing the Ghostbusters stuff, like I was able to get maybe 1 or 2 figures, but just still had no money for that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
yeah, but then this is how toy collecting works. You buy one thing, and then I'll buy like one thing a week, and then 5 years goes by, and you're like, well, I've been buying 2 or 5 things a week for 5 years, and now I don't know.
And
what to
now
do.
I feel overwhelmed.
But I bought a lot of my Kenner stuff at garage sales and yard sales in North Carolina.
For some reason, North Carolina, great scene if you want vintage real Ghostbusters. Because when I moved here in 2002 at the flea market, I was like, they just got stuff everywhere. Like the ones I'm showing here, I got at the Raleigh Inside Pitch Toy Show in 2002. I was like, oh my, they still got complete proton packs unbroken. They're just sitting there.
Well, I'll never forget. I found out. Well, famously, the only toy friend I had in North Carolina was John, the former co-host. Which, again, years later, I'm like, wait a minute, this is too weird.
And I feel like I was like, God, his face looks familiar. Like we were in the same circles.
Isn't that weird? But yeah, weird. I remember a lady somewhere in the outskirts of Raleigh was getting rid of like her kids' stuff from like he was probably already in college or whatever, and she just had it all in the front yard, and it was like a firehouse, a bunch of figures, an '89 Toy Biz Batman Batcave in the box. And I'm like there, like I'm just in my, that you try to do the poker face, like my heart's beating, and I'm like, yeah, I don't know, I'll give you like 50 for all this. She's like, okay, deal. And in my head, I was like, oh, we've won.
Got it for 40. I could have got it for 40.
Oh, she probably would have just let me take it.
Yeah, you do the casual walk up, and you're like, oh,
yeah,
what's
this? I've heard of this. I've heard of Ghostbusters.
Batman.
Batman.
Interest. I remember something.
Yeah. I remember they said something about Batman at one point. So
yeah. My kid is in the hospital. He would.
He'd love this, but we don't have money for
if he makes it.
If
he makes it.
Oh no! What is he okay? He had to have his.
Don't worry about it.
Oh, in all honesty, though, it wasn't until probably 2013, 2014 where I, in earnest, like I'm making a checklist. I have to collect my Ghostbusters figures, and I started putting the collection together.
Hell yeah, that's awesome. Yep. I love that.
Yeah.
No, it's funny. Like John and I became friends, like good friends, because we both went together to this dude's house out in the middle of nowhere to like look at a toy collection.
Yeah.
Because I was just like safety numbers, because we were like friends because we both set up at toy shows. We're like, hey, this guy says he has this huge Star Wars collection, Marvel Legends, whatever.
Right.
I know you sell more regular than I do, but do you want to like go on this together and see what we find? Also, I don't want to die. And John's like a big dude, like he lifts and everything, so he's like a big,
he's muscular,
strong, big, strong man. So I was
look,
strength.
I'm a risk adverse guy, but for toys, I'll drive down a dirt road and
isn't it wild?
Go to a stranger's house.
Yes. Sure. The amount of like people's garages or situations where I could easily be murdered.
That life-size Watto I got Abby for her birthday like 6 or 7 years ago. It was literally like the first half of my day was like deliverance. Like second half of my day was like Phantom Menace. So it all worked out.
Oh man. Good times. Anyway, okay. Craig, you wrote a book. I do just want to touch upon this before we get into the figures.
Should I show it?
Yes, please.
I have a book. This is the deluxe edition. Okay.
Yeah.
So it has the slipcover based on the Kenner Firehouse. The back looks like the back of the Kenner Firehouse.
Big screen here, yeah.
Oh yeah. So they did a really good job on now the book itself is the same, but if you are, listen, the thing I will say, if it is expensive, it's like $100.
Worth it.
But if you're a Kenner Ghostbusters fan, you have to go. It's 2025, and this is something that exists. So
exactly.
So on the inside, there's stuff. There's a
show. You're fine.
Portfolio. I mean, they say that in Ghostbusters. There's this little portfolio on the inside that comes with the deluxe edition only. These 2 reproduction animation cells, which is really
that's cool.
Yeah. So they did a really good job. And honestly, what's cool about this book, Sony, there's no like Sony archive. That's not a thing. I mean, there is, but not for the real Ghostbusters. So
Yeah.
90% of the stuff we sourced for the book, whether it be original art from the show or concept art, unreleased, all the stuff in the book came from either people who worked on the show, worked at Kenner, or collectors.
Yeah.
And so it was a little bit like a scavenger hunt putting it all together. But so the way the book, I won't go up too far on all this because I do want people to like really enjoy it when they get it. But the book's kind of what for?
No, I love that's the inside there. I love that. So cool.
Yeah, that's like the inside of the book there.
I mean, the firehouse is what I meant to say.
The inside of the firehouse, right. Yeah, and they kind of like reproduced the stickers and then the back. Yeah. So they did a really good job, and the book's kind of divided into like the first half is. I'll just kind of thumb through a little. I'm going to find some good pages to share. A little exclusive here.
What I love about you've been working on this book, for a long time.
It's like
it's so good.
All the detailed model sheet.
But like like hey, we're going to so and so's house. We're driving 10 hours or whatever.
Yeah.
Here's some of the stuff we're looking at. You send it to me. I'm like, oh my God, this is like incredible collections that are just in people's houses.
Yeah.
And the fact you got to go out and like document it, and now it's like there for others to enjoy is so freaking cool.
Here's like the Fright Features spread with some of the original concept art and stuff. What was really cool too is that beyond just writing the book, I did a lot of the photography and not a photographer, but you got to do what you got to do. So a lot of the like the standalone shots of the toys and stuff are from my personal collection.
Nice.
So it's a passion project 100%. My whole thing was like, I think somebody eventually is going to try to do a book like this. I want it to be good. It's not an ego thing at all. It's not like I have to, trust me. There's bigger Ghostbusters fans in the world. There's people who know every line to every episode, and that's not my level of obsession necessarily with the show. But I have a deep love and appreciation for. I learned a lot, right? I learned a lot about how much work went into the show. We talked to a lot of writers, a lot of the artists, voice actors, and then the coolest talking to the people who worked at Kenner was such a treat because they haven't thought about this stuff in 40 years. And for a lot of them, it's like, oh yeah, that's a job I had, right? Like they were like, oh yeah, I designed Ghostbusters toys for a year and a half, and then I went and designed toasters at some other company, because they're just like really talented industrial designers. So one thing I will say about the book, it is a story, right? It's not an encyclopedia. It's not, here's a picture of every figure that came out with every variant of every card. That's not what this is. This is the story of how the show came together, how the toys came together, and the people that were involved in it. And we tried to pack as much as humanly possible in there. Can't get everything in. There's only, I think it's 250 pages. So super excited about it, and super grateful for the opportunity to work on an official Ghostbusters thing.
That's cool. I'm really pumped.
If people are interested in pre-ordering it somewhere, is there a particular place they should go?
So
where do you get the most money? No, I'm kidding. Where should you go buy it?
Well, I don't know if you guys know this. Not a lot of dollars in the publishing game. No, we as far as like where to get it now, Amazon has it. You can get it from Dark Horse. You can get it from. Listen, I would love for people to get it from like their local comic book stores if they have distribution. Order it from there. Troy and we're also going to have like signed copies available like on an e-commerce website if you want to wait and get a copy.
That's what I want. I want to create. Actually, can I get you to sign it at Comic-Con? Maybe
I will. We're gonna have a signing. I think. I don't know. Nothing's confirmed, but I will sign something. I will sign you, Jay.
Sign my arm.
The thing is like there's a bunch of Star Wars toy books. There's really done G.I. Joe toy books. There's really well done. Pixel Dan just announced a Ninja Turtles book. I'm like, so
exciting stuff.
It like I said, somebody eventually was going to do it, but it's as we'll talk about, it's a niche of a niche of a niche. The 40th anniversary of Real Ghostbusters is next year, so it's a good time to do it.
Hell yeah. All right, well, let's jump into the toy line with that great setup. So 86 is kind of weird. In Allison's research, and Craig, I'm curious if you found this as well. There's not like official. We don't have any documentation or a really official confirmation that there were toys other than like, you know, people said that maybe it was available like Christmas time 1986. Like, where did you do you find anything more definitive?
Yeah, basically they wanted to get these out as quickly as possible to align with the show coming out. By all accounts and from everyone we talked to, 87 was the year everything hit. 87 was the big breakout year. Toy Fair 87 is when everything was in stores. They kind of missed the 86 Christmas season by a couple of weeks. Is there a chance some of it was out there on shelves prior to? Sure, I'm sure, but they're not great records kept of it's not like today, like, well, actually, the gaming greats Stormtroopers hit GameStop 3 weeks before they were supposed to. So yeah, but it primarily, so the show launches in fall 86. Filmation Ghostbusters launched and ended in fall 86. And by 87, it's just taken off. Like, I think there's a cool, I don't want to reveal too much, but there is a cool stat in the book. The projected sales for Real Ghostbusters in 1987 alone was $127 million.
Wow.
So that's an incredible. Hold on, I'm sorry.
No, you're fine.
I don't know what that was. Sorry. So 127 million. 1987. It was Abby. She was filming me. I don't know what she's doing.
Making content, maybe.
She asked me what channel we're on. This is not a live show. I'm so sorry if you have to edit this out.
It's okay, no. We'll leave it. Screw it.
So, anyways, it's better than when she used to come in to interrupt me with the big Jar Jar.
The Jar Jar Binks is my favorite bit, and I hate that you killed it. But you know, it's just me.
So, anyways, they knew it was like a phenomenon, like right off the bat. And there was like one thing that was cool is like I got a hold of all these Kenner like market research papers that showed like what kids were reacting to and why. And it's everything that you think. Kids loved them. Kids loved the ghosts. Kids love wanting to be a Ghostbusters. Moms hate slime. You know, it's like nothing groundbreaking other than they knew they had a hit on their hand.
Yeah.
Well, and kids like to be scared, right? Like being scared is part of that phenomenon as well. And Ghostbusters gives them the play armor to defend themselves. Yeah, there's great interview. I think it was on maybe the Time Life Ghostbusters DVD set, the Real Ghostbusters set, where Harold Ramis is talking about just that, where it's like kids are kind of scared of the dark and scared of ghosts, and Ghostbusters made it okay to like not only be scared, but to not like hide, to like fight back kind of thing. Yeah. So there's like this like psychologists really liked Ghostbusters. I always wondered if like in the height of satanic panic stuff, I wonder if Ghostbusters, I wonder if there was some like parents who were like, no, we don't do the supernatural. Like, I'm sure there was some of that as well. Yeah, no, Peggy Charon and all the children's television advocates and stuff. It's mostly Peggy Charon. There are stories by, the writers. I'm sure you encountered at least some of it in the process of making the book about those and the changes that actually had to be implemented in the show with Janine's design and all that stuff. Oh yeah. Because of the child advocacy groups and the things that they were complaining about. Right. And in the book goes into really great detail on the Q5 was the name of the the consultancy group that went into the studios and said, we actually know much better than you do. So it's interesting. I sometimes wonder, I feel like sometimes there's more of that now, like people just being so like, I don't know, like I don't know if Ghostbusters comes out now, if it like, but then again there's like spooky morbid stuff like Wednesday that blows up, so like I never know.
Yeah,
Stranger Things seem to do
exactly,
okay with the kids and whatnot.
All I know is that when CBS was told Janine needs to change her hair and her glasses, it's very important to the future of Ghostbusters. They listened. So,
all right, let's jump into the figures. Wave 1, we have kind of the classic Ghostbusters, right? And so that gives us Egon Spengler, Peter Venkman, Ray Stantz, Winston Zeddemore. And for ghosts, they had little companion ghosts to go with them, which we'll go in a little bit deeper in a second. You had the ghosts of Green Ghost and Stay Puft Marshmallow Man, the Ghost Zapper, and then we had the Puppet, Slimer, Green Ghost, and Stay Puft Marshmallow Man. No playsets, no vehicles. That was kind of the first wave, and this is what's kind of first hit in 1987. These are different card backs, so these are later card backs here on this website.
Right.
The first ones were all blue. Those are the ones that Hasbro re-released. But let's kick off with Egon Spengler. For you, or really all of these, kind of the same idea. But what were these figures, at least the Ghostbuster figures, for you, Craig?
Well, so you don't realize this as a child on why you're so why you're gravitating towards something. But one thing I learned in the research, and this is pretty common thing in toys, you got a full play pattern with one figure. All right. So you could buy one figure, and not only do you have the hero from the show, you have the proton pack, you have the ghost for them to catch, and you have a play feature, right? So you can twist the bottom end of the proton wand and actually, replicate, similar to like the lightsabers in Kenner Star Wars, right? So that was a very big deal from like a marketing perspective. From a kid's perspective, though, like I just knew I liked all 4 Ghostbusters equally. I wanted all 4. I couldn't just have Peter and Winston.
Yes,
you need all 4. You need the full team.
Yeah, it's like the Ninja Turtles. What, you're not gonna have Donatello?
Exactly.
Yep. Were any of your favorites? All 4 were fine. Nothing kind of stood out. Like, that's my favorite.
Like, it's weird. Ray was always my least favorite. I don't know.
Interesting. Okay.
I don't know why. I always Wave 1. Obviously, Fright Features Egon's great, but Wave 1, it was Peter and Winston were my 2 favorites. That you could convince me that the Wave 1 RGB Peter Venkman is my favorite toy ever.
It'd probably be up there for me too. Like this one, I don't know what it is. Green's my favorite color. The green in his eyes always like captured my imagination. And I still vividly remember McDonald's in Elkhorn. I think that McDonald's is still there to this day. We went there and I was 2. I wasn't 3 yet. And a kid had this toy. And they were in line in front of me and they were playing with it. And it was a girl. And she was just like, twirling the proton pack thing. I was like, oh my God, Mom, that's like, and I'm 2. So what am I don't know what my communication skills were. I just knew that I was like, I need this. I need this so bad.
Well, a fun anecdote for the listeners. When they were first putting together the concepts to pitch and get the license, Fright Features was the first idea they had. They knew they knew they had the engineering team, right? Think about Superpowers kind of being a precursor to Fright Features with the play features. Their original idea for Wave 1 was like the Fright Features style figures, but they knew they wouldn't be able to get them out in time because it's just a lot more of a
engineering and everything.
Parts,
a lot. I mean, the inside of if you ever dropped like a Fright Features figure or it's like a clock in there. There's springs and it's crazy. So this was kind of the happy medium to still have, some kind of a manual play feature, but there's not a whole lot of like bells and whistles to it.
So I will say, I adore the first series figures. For me as a kid, these were the ones I like. Again, I liked Fright Features. I had all the other ones, but these were the most important because they looked like the characters from the show. But my question to you, Craig, and actually, Dan, I'm curious for you too. What was your thoughts on the proton stream thing? Because I could care less about these. And if they broke off, I never did it myself. But if they broke off, I almost enjoyed
When-
that playing with them more without the beam.
When they broke off.
Yeah, exactly. They would always break off.
Yeah.
It's a miracle these haven't broken off. But what was your thoughts on the stream play feature?
Yeah, I mean, I liked it. I don't know. I don't remember liking it or disliking it as a kid. I don't. It probably was like whatever. Same with me because it was more about the figures hanging out.
Yeah.
I get in fights with my good buddy John Yerkeba, who's an amazing artist, and he's got a comic book cover coming out for Dark Horse. He always gets his appeal for Ghostbusters has always been like the ghosts and the spirits and the lore, and I'm always like, well, my favorite scene is when they're in jail and they're just being funny, or when they're in the mayor's office. Like, to me, the Ghostbusters are at their best when they're just hanging out at the firehouse ribbing each other. So one thing that's funny though, when you find, I know a lot of times when you find old RGB figures, the back peg, the part behind the thrower, would have teeth marks.
From being chewed on 100%. Let's see, does this one have that? I don't know. I don't.
Or on the green part on the back, like just.
Oh, sure. This little part right there.
Yeah.
It's so chewable. Dan, did you? I mean, in retrospect, what do you think of the play feature of the?
Even at the time, I mean, I was familiar with the toys. It was just something that didn't particularly interest me at the time. I didn't like that solution. I get it. I understand the sort of visual nature of it and the spectacle of it. And I think comparing it to a Kenner retractable lightsaber is a pretty accurate description there. But it didn't work for me as a depiction, as a physical version of those proton streams.
Right.
I definitely would have preferred something that was more retractable, removable, or even honestly, if it was just like now, I would say just put a little LED flashlight in there. Just put a button on and make it a flashlight. Something like that. But I wasn't crazy about it. And if I had owned them, I would have broken that thing off right out of the package.
Right,
I would have just pulled it right off and said, "Not for me."
Because even then,
Jay,
go ahead.
I was gonna say one thing that's cool that I want people to look out for in the book too is that the Kenner was working on the pitch for this, and I'd have to look at the timeline again to see when they actually acquired it, but they were working on it before they had any of the branding from the show. So we have the original cardbacks that they pitched that look a lot more like the movie than the colors.
That's cool.
Interesting. Yeah.
I love that. Something I've also always loved about these is the actual deco of the Ghostbusters Lego. I always thought it looks so sharp.
I mean, it looks better than it does on the show,
right?
The show, depending on which studio is animating it. Like sometimes it was.
I always just the iconography. I always thought they did a great job, especially on the earlier figures, of including the Ghostbusters logo. I always love Ray just because he had the normal suit, and he kind of always, like, if I was doing a live action, kind of looked like a chubby Bill Murray.
Sure.
I don't know if you ever.
I shouldn't have slandered Ray earlier. I love
you
Ray.
Did. You said you hate Ray.
I did not say I hate.
Famously, he did not get Ecto goggles until Slime Tears, which we'll dig into later. So I have a chewed up pair sitting on this one here. But yeah, no, I loved all of these. My biggest thing though, for whatever reason, like as a kid, I lost the proton packs. And so by the time I was probably 6 or 7 or something, there were off the shelves and there were no more proton packs. And so proton packs became like this thing that I just obsessed over. And I dream of just finding them for some reason, like under my bed or something, like just a pile of proton
I can't even
packs.
keep up with my accessories now. So definitely horrible.
Right. And I just remember just obsessing and I could never find them. And so it's to this day, like if I find loose proton packs, like I just buy them. And I have a little box just full of extra proton packs, both the blue ones, the purple ones, the Ecto Glow ones, and I just hold on to them like they're gold. But something of note of the proton packs, which is kind of people that care, the first release did not have the cables there. They actually had at the very bottom. I could
Yep.
actually attach to the proton pack.
I don't know
And
which
then
ones I have.
after that, the very first release, the all blue card backs, they went to just cutting a hole, like drilling a hole in the pack, and then just basically tying it into there. So that's how you know if you got the very first release versus a later release.
And Jay, famously, I bought a set of these from you.
I think I gave you. No, actually, you didn't even end up using. You used your own toys. You didn't even use my toys.
I think I still have your card backs. I know I do.
Do you? Okay.
Yeah, I gotta bring them back to you.
For those who know, Craig and I were on an episode of Judge Steve Harvey where we were contesting the sale of these set of figures. Actually,
and I've been trying to get. I get emails now. I don't remember. I don't know. I got on some list. I want Jaleel White's filming a game show in Atlanta. And Abby and I were on the verge of getting cast on it, and she decided she didn't want to do it.
I would have jumped in with you.
And I was like, wow, I guess you don't want to win upwards of $10,000. So I'm always trying to get on some show. It's my
biggest regret of that is whatever the judge awards you, the producers give you that money.
Right. We messed up.
So the whole goal was like both Craig and I would have competing lawsuits against each other.
Right.
And no matter what, one of us would win and we just split the winnings. That was the angle.
The deal. And threw the whole case out.
He did. He just threw the case out. And Craig, I still remember because it's in the episode. You're like, well, can you get something to Abby because she puts up with me? Like you were still trying to get something.
Dude, the funniest line is not in the funniest line, and I'm so sad it's not in the episode, is when Steve Harvey says, well, how many Ghostbusters toys do you have? And I'm like, I have over 400 Ghostbusters toys. And he goes, well, how many characters are even in the movie?
Yeah.
It's like, I was like, oh, we're about to talk about variants.
All I know is like that it ended up being 10 minutes of the episode, but there was like 50 minutes of gold that was experienced in that courtroom that day.
I'll always be able to say we got the season finale episode.
Yes.
So.
Was it the series finale? Because I think that might have been the last ever episode of that show.
It should have been. Should have been as big as MASH or Cheers.
I know the producers are just over the moon with how well that segment went.
It's ridiculous.
Anyway, but yes, for me, series 1 having the ghosts with it, with the proton packs, with the figures, it does give you everything you need. I think that's really, really cool. Craig, did you get the answer to Green Ghost? So for those that don't know, for actually throughout the entire toy line, I think he was called Green Ghost. Even the other Slimers were called Green Ghosts. Any angle on why Slimer was called Green Ghost?
So if you remember, so obviously in the first movie, his name is not Slimer. His name was not Slimer until the show. And it's just the same thing. Like these were in production simultaneously with the show. They from our research, like they wanted these two ghosts came out before the rest of the Wave 1 ghosts. And they're both hollow and roto-molded because they're easier and quicker to produce. They wanted to get these out. They wanted evergreen, like more deluxe, but still they were like $7, $5, whatever they were. And these Slimer and Stay Puft are like the two iconic ghosts. But yeah, I don't think Slimer had a name, but like I know at some point there's a version of the Green Ghost where there's like a sticker on it and it says like Slimer from the show. So why they continued with that, I'm not sure.
That's the part I was hoping maybe in your talking with Kenner folks. I get this one being called Green Ghost because it wasn't named Slimer.
When you interview people, I will say this, and Dan, I know you've done a lot of research in interviewing people. You can always tell when somebody's being honest or when they're just like throwing something out there. It's like, okay, bro, that's not what happens. But if you notice, the Green Ghost figure is modeled way more after the Green Ghost that you see in the original RGB like pilot short,
pilot,
right?
Yep.
and because that's how the studio, that's how they won the pitch. Basically,
Mhm.
they created that and showed Ivan Reitman and his team, and Geek was awarded the the production or whatever. So, but yeah, that's not too much. It's fairly common sense. Like his just name wasn't Slimer yet, and they had to make the twist.
Yeah, it's just weird. 2 years down there, they still called him Green Ghost. Didn't make much sense. But were these? Did you have these growing up? Actually, you said you got these ones, right, as a kid?
Yeah, definitely, definitely.
I remember where I got my Green Ghost. My mom was a figure skating coach in the 80s, and she would go to these figure skating competitions. She had to go to one in Palm
Figure
Desert.
skating. I thought you said figure scanning.
No, not figure
I was like,
skating.
is
Sorry.
that
Figure skating?
Is that a trainer at KB Toys, a figure skating coach? Okay, she was a figure skating coach. Okay,
figure skating. She was in the Ice Capades. She was a professional figure skater. Again, like my parents are.
My mom was like Nancy Kerrigan.
That was a big deal in our household. We were a hockey figure skating household. Both my stepdad and father were hockey players.
Makes sense. Yeah,
my mom was a figure skater.
There you go.
But anyway, it was the classic, if you had to go on a trip or you had to do something with your parents, they get you a toy to shut you up for the trip. So that trip, this was the toy I got for that trip. And so the Slimer has a warm place in my heart. This Stay Puft I was fine with. I didn't like how small he was as a kid. He was undersized. So
the whole point of Stay Puft is that he's huge.
Exactly. So the Stay Puft I played with my toys, and I still have to this day, is the plush Stay Puft Marshmallow Man.
Makes sense.
Where are you at with this one, Craig?
I'm guessing I probably had it, but I don't have much of a memory of it. I've never liked plush. I've never been much of even as a kid, I wanted a toy. I wanted a hard plastic toy. But it is really cool. I don't even own it. I have the Slimer now. I've owned it in the past, but I don't own it right now. But I like it, and it does scale better.
It does. Like, so I should have it's in my display, like he's kind of climbing up the firehouse in my display over here. So like taking out would have like destroyed the whole display. But no, I remember getting it. I got it at Lucky's. No, I'm sorry, it was Thrifty's in Lakeside. I remember getting it. And even on the box, I think they showed that it scaled with the figures. Like you could use the figures to fight it.
Nice.
And I wasn't much of a stuffed animal kid either, but that Stay Puft was like my dude, and he was with me always.
Well, another thing was I should have mentioned this when you were talking about the other Stay Puft. My mom still tells a story that and I believe her. I don't have any reason to not believe her, because my mom. Listen, we all have flaws, but my mom would risk life and limb to get a toy for her kids. And according to her, she waited overnight for the Toys R Us trucks to show up and unload with a bunch of other parents looking for a Stay Puft.
Oh my gosh.
In my mom's memory, Stay Puft was the Tickle Me Elmo of 1987. Whether or not that's true, whether or not, I don't know all the details, but according to her, she waited overnight for a Stay Puft, and for that, I think.
Interesting.
Yeah,
that's cool. I love that. I love how so many people have stories of their mother like giving them a toy or whatever.
Yeah.
I mean, everybody has them.
Yeah.
So moms, we love you. Thank you.
Yeah. Well, my other story was I was such a spoiled brat. I knew she had Super Fright features bought for me, hidden for like my birthday, and I called her at work screaming and crying, and then finally she was like, "Just they're top of the closet. Just go get them." So I threw a fit.
Jesus.
Yeah. That's like not even like I wasn't a bratty kid, but I was having a moment.
Okay, so the plush Green Ghost, it's a puppet, and it's a very I still have I had two as a kid. I got one extra as like a gift or something. I had two. And I still have one of them, but it's at my parents' somewhere. I still haven't been able to find it. It kind of drives me nuts that I haven't found it. But it was a great puppet because and if Craig, you're getting it right now, it's awesome. Because it's like a straight up Muppets puppet. It's such a good puppet.
We heard stories that the Kenner salespeople would use this in their, like they'd have this in their briefcase, and because it's so emotive.
It
And
really is.
for a toy that's not real, when people think of real Ghostbusters toys, I don't think most people think of this, but like this is a pretty good 40-year-old puppet here.
It's great. I loved it so much because it scales to like being a real Slimer that you're trying to shoot. So like if I have my proton pack and I'm zapping that ghost, like my mom's using it or my sisters or something, it's the perfect Slimer. I love that thing.
I display him on a cup.
That's perfect.
Nice.
But I and the eyes, like, can you just put the eyes up close? Like, I love, they're like these ping pong
bloodshot
ish,
eyes.
but they're
very Muppety for sure.
I love that puppet. I want to get both of those boxed. I see them every now and then. They're always kind of super pricey. But
I had a graded, I
bought
bought a graded, I never buy graded anything. Why? But Matt Cardona had a graded Stay Puft, and it just looked so good in the
the acrylic,
the acrylic. And I bought it from, I overpaid for it because I was like, ooh, I need that. And then like 6 months later, I was like, okay, I don't need this, but it is very cool. And it's a great display piece. So.
You had it for a time. All right. And then the other the first role play toy, it wasn't the proton pack. It was the Ghost Zapper, which if you didn't have it, it was like a little flashlight and it had a little cells and it would flash them on a wall. I had it. I didn't love this one though, other than
kind of sucks.
Well, yeah, but it had a Gozer, like a real Ghostbusters eyes Gozer and Terror Dog, I think, on the little thing that you could flip through. I believe
the box art's awesome.
It is.
And yeah, it's got like a little cartridge. You twist it around, and I think there was also like a mail away cartridge as well. It's when you see it loose, it's so unimpressive.
It's like a flashlight with a little
yeah. But it's I know this is just like year one, but the role play stuff is what really separated the real Ghostbusters line from. I mean, first of all, I will say this: my proton pack, my favorite role play toy. Okay, as a kid, my second favorite, the New Adventures of He-Man sword, the yellow one.
Okay.
That thing rules.
Yeah.
But agreed. I love but the role play stuff was a big deal. I mean, getting to put on the pack as a kid and be a Ghostbuster was kind of a game changer.
My number one, proton pack, same as you. My number two, the Hook sword, but the Peter Pan Hook sword from the Mattel line, because it had a little bell in it. And so like it would ring like it would in the movie, that ring. But I think it uses the same mold. I have both of them. John, longtime host of the live show, got me one for my birthday one year. But I think it uses the same mold as the He-Man sword, but it's just gold instead of the yellow. Sense. And then number 3 was the RoboCop helmet and gun from Kenner.
I love all the RoboCop stuff.
It's so great.
It's funny too when we would talk to the Kenner employees, like I don't think a lot of them realized the impact some of those like smaller lines had.
Yeah.
Like the one guy, oh God, what's his name? Jerry. It'll come to me. I feel bad, but he worked on Centurions before coming to RGB, and like he's like, yeah, nobody remembers that. I'm like, oh, they do remember. Or you'll hear him talk about how RoboCop didn't work and Beetlejuice was kind of weird. I was like, no, there's a whole podcast.
Oh man, we'll get to RoboCop one day because I love that RoboCop toy. Dan, were you a fan of that RoboCop toy line? Did you care? Oh no! Sorry, you're muted. No. There you go. They're back. Okay.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. No, it was not. I was tail end of GI Joe, still doing that, and then looking for more articulated, more exotic, and then Toy Biz would have been where I was at.
Okay. Cool.
The Marvel stuff.
Yeah. All right. Let's go to the back half of '87, which you could call true '87, but they all kind of came out at the same time.
Sure.
You had the second wave Ghost, which again are some of my favorite ghosts of all time, with Bad to the Bone, Bug Eye Ghost, and H2O Ghost. Bug Eye, so famous, he's in the movies now. But Craig, what was your favorite out of these ghosts?
Bad to the Bone. It's my favorite villain
Bad to the
Ghostbusters toy. It's awesome. I had him at the same time as Venkman. I like skeletons. I think they're really cool. And this one can trap Ghostbusters in his rib cage, and that is awesome.
I always thought it was creepy because it's not human.
No, it's really scary.
It's
like what is it a skeleton of?
Is it a mermaid or something? Like, what's going on there?
Really, really cool. The other ones are great. I mean, Bug Eye is iconic, right? Like bashing him on the back of his head and getting his eye to pop out. I mean, it's really cool play features.
Oh wait, not you, Craig. Sorry. I love you, but let's see. Oh yeah. So I love he had the same bloodshot eyes as that
the Slimer, yeah.
The Slimer. But just such a good toy.
And it's simple. It's not like overly complex, but it's kind of genius and fun.
So cool.
Well, and the distortions to the anatomy there definitely push it into, creepy town.
Oh yeah.
If it was just a humanoid skeleton, you'd be like, man, it's a skeleton. But yeah, when you start to think about what is it, what was it, what's it supposed to be? Is it damaged? Is it weird? Is it warped by the, hell?
It's warped by hell.
But that's what I think. It kind of understood, like Slimer. What is Slimer? What was that? I was a human. How did it turn into Slimer or whatever?
There's no rule. Don't let anybody ever try to tell you there's rules to the ghosts of Ghostbusters.
Exactly.
There's not.
But that's what, and some people, and I understand the critique, and it is one where like I wish we had Sam Hain. I wish we had Boogeyman, right? And Mondo's rectifying that with their line. But it's just cool that Kenner's like, we're just gonna make up our own ghosts and just put them in there. And like the Bug Eye Ghost, like the green of the string, he just looks cool. And just this eyeball is such a cool.
It's cool. I mean, it's
eyeball.
There's a lot of like really creepy stuff in the 80s like that. I think modern toys can learn a little bit from. But yeah, that's great.
My favorite of the three is the H2O Ghost. Just because I got so much play value out of this guy, so many bath times with the H2O Ghost. So it's like a two-parter. You can, the top one you can put in, squeeze in through his nostrils, and he shoots out the water out of his nose. And then the bottom one has this one eye here that he shoots out of, as well. But I had a dog. His name was Snapper, and he chewed through my original one and destroyed actually a lot of my Ghostbuster toys. He ate a lot of them.
Sorry,
and that's why I still don't trust dogs. So no, I'm just kidding. But we didn't have a great relationship. That's why I'm a cat guy these days. Because they never hurt me. Let's keep going here. Why can't I zoom? There we go. How about Ectoplasm? Craig, what was your mom a pro or against the slime thing?
She was distorted by hell. I love saying that now. I mean, I ruined my bedroom carpet with it. I'm sure she wasn't happy about that. But that's just what you do when you're a boy, no matter what age. You just ruin your bedroom carpet.
That's that's really true.
Ectoplasm rules. That's the most common one, the pink one. It did have assorted colors at one point.
Were you okay with it? Because I definitely got a lot of run out of slime. He-Man, Masters of the Universe, notoriously had a slime pit and a bunch of slime stuff. And there's the whole stretch there where, like quarter machines at the grocery store and stuff, you get little, Gasha balls full of slime. Slime was just a toy that you played with. It still is today. Kids love slime.
Absolutely.
But I was always very hesitant. I didn't actually want to put it on my toys because I didn't want to have to clean them.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
And B, I wanted my slime to stay pure.
It ruined my firehouse.
And so did you do the thing where you pour it through the top?
I poured it right through the grate,
Absolutely.
All right.
and it
There's
was
still
ruined.
there's still flecks in mine. I'm pretty sure there's still some caked in the corners and crevices of my
Here's a
firehouse.
fun anecdote. I think you and your listeners will, maybe they know this, maybe they don't, but there's a reason Mattel, I believe they trademarked the word slime. And
They did.
Pixel Dan, resident slime expert on YouTube, has talked about the legalities behind who and who cannot call their slime.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. Even to this day, when when the Ecto 1 HasLab was going on, none of the marketing material said slime blowers anywhere. They were Ecto charger throwers.
I didn't even track that.
Yeah, you could say slime blower, but Mattel is litigious. They always have been. I don't know if that's true or not, but yeah, trademarks are real.
Wow, that's wild.
And by the way, that's not information anybody gave me. That's just inference.
Sure.
Oh, yeah. Well, it's kind of known, right? And what's funny is I never had the other colors of Ectoplasm. So I only had the purple one, pink purple one. But yeah, famously they had blue and yellow. And like straight up red, right? Wasn't like or was it still the pinkish?
There's a red. There's blue, pink, yellow, and red. I think are the four.
Okay.
The four ones.
I have a purple and the pink and whatever. I don't have the yellow or the blue. That's what I need.
The crazy thing is, even if you find open ectoplasm now, I mean, I don't know what they made that stuff out of, but there's some preservatives in there because it holds. It's been 40 years.
Out of all the slime, so I have a sealed and opened. My open ectoplasm still are gooey ectoplasm on the inside. They haven't turned into dried up cakes. They still function as ectoplasm.
I sold was it me or Jake? One of us sold a seal. I think this was actually Jacob's story, but he sold a sealed ectoplasm recently on eBay, and the guy messaged him, was like, "Hey, when you shake it, does it still slosh?" He's like, "I'm not paying top dollar for non-sloshing ectoplasm, bro." I love
it does make a sound. Let me grab it. Let me see if we can capture it on camera quick while whatever you want to talk about. Well, I don't know. What's next we could talk about while I get that. But
I had a question for Dan.
Sure.
Okay,
yeah. We'll talk about slime Foley while you're out. Yeah, sure.
Dan, did you have any kind of like texture aversion? Like, does it gross you out, or it was just mainly you did not want the toys to get?
It was just all about cleaning the toy. I played with slime all day, and there were toys that I didn't mind playing with the slime. Like for whatever reason, I had a collection of, I don't know if I got them out of the quarter machines or if it was just something I had found, but I had like little like Civil War soldiers, army guys, whatever, smaller ones, not the standard size ones. And I had a blast just dunking those guys in the slime and getting them all in there. But I think that was because those were toys that I didn't really care as much about.
Right.
And, there was no concern about bits falling and getting stuck in the slime and whatever. Because it was important to me to be able to put it back in that canister or that capsule and keep it clean and fresh and flowing and sloshy.
Well, you can imagine, and we all remember what a bedroom carpet in 1987 that like,
so
we didn't have any of that high and tight carpet. It was
very shaggy,
strandy,
and I didn't want any hair in it. I didn't want dust particles in it. I didn't want dirt, rocks, anything. Because you had if you played with it for more than like a week, 2 weeks, or whatever, you had to go get new slime.
Yeah. The vacuum cleaners weren't what they are today. There's no Dyson. Carpets were rife with whatever shit fell in there. So yeah, this ectoplasm I got in a blind lot on eBay in 1999, I think. Didn't have a picture. It was just a lot, and so I've had it since then, still sealed. This is a pink one.
Nice.
So this one I have sealed. I haven't opened it, but it's not. It feels.
Oh, you're sloshing.
A little bit of slosh. I don't know if it picked that up, but this is a canister I got here at a toy show. This is the original, like purpley pink one, and it's still. Look at this.
Nice. Look at that.
Still sliming it up.
Well, one of the Gooper ghosts, I think, came with a mini can. I'm sure you guys are talking about that. And there's a video of me somewhere on the YHS Instagram from 4 or 5 years ago. I bought a mini can of it, and I opened it to smell it, and like half of the slime just poured out, and it was like liquefied. So it was a slime disaster.
I'm probably gonna get lung cancer from sniffing that, but it still smells the same.
We used to smoke that. We used to roll up ectoplasm and smoke it. That's just how we rolled in Chicago at 5 years old.
Yeah, you can brush your teeth. You can just dab a little slime on it.
Oh, I do have Slimer toothpaste right over there. Basically,
see that I vividly remember. I remember the bubble gums, like the squeeze bubble gum too.
They marketed the heck out of this.
Yeah, they did. Ghost Popper. I got that on my 3rd birthday at Chuck E. Cheese, 1988. Did you have the Ghost Popper? Pre-Nerf.
So yes, every kid had this one because it was before. I mean, every kid.
This is not the original one. This is the re-release.
That's the re-release.
Toy Collector's Guide. You gotta get the original. It's black.
Now
not
that's
blue.
the blue one that I thought that was kind of cool. They did a re-release kind of in the same color. I think there was some legalities nowadays of making a toy gun that's black or whatever.
Sure.
Some stuff. But yeah, the original one's black, and you don't see the original one in the packaging all that much. But it's like every kid had it, but was down to like one styrofoam dart.
Yep. I have a vintage one around here somewhere. But like every time I find a vintage little Nerf bullet for it, I put it. I think I have 3. I found 3 vintage ones to go along with it.
Yeah.
So to go along with the ectoplasm, you have the Gooper Ghost, the Banshee Bomber, the Sludge Bucket, and the Squisher. I had one of these as a kid. Did you have any of these, Craig?
Well, I don't know. I feel like I shouldn't even say it. I do want to say these are definitely not year one.
No, it's 87, I think, isn't it?
Did these come out in 87? Well,
87,
you know what?
88?
87, 88. I definitely had.
Yeah.
Listen, the time doesn't really even matter. How many RGB episodes are you doing? 3?
5?
Oh, wow.
This one, 88.
These are great, though.
90. Yeah, 5 total, I think.
I had the I don't know if I had all 3. I think Banshee Bomber is my least favorite of the 3. But
it's the least effective, but it's the rarest, right? It's kind of hard to find that one.
But Sludge Bucket and Squisher were like, I mean, they came in the mail with samples of Calgon. as Wayne Campbell most famously said. Yeah, I definitely, those were great. And these in package with the slime or the ectoplasm.
Yeah, it came with this ectoplasm right here.
They're going to cost you.
Yes, and I'm kind of bummed because now I have Squisher and Banshee Bomber now. I don't have the one I had as a kid, which is Sludge Bucket.
That's a cool.
And so I remember apartment we lived in El Cajon, California, on Bradley, a street in El Cajon. And I remember just playing with this on the coffee table. Again, TV was always on in my house. Like the level of screen time I had as a kid was far beyond what any doctor would recommend, probably. But I just remember playing with this thing all because it would just make this bubble, like it would just bubble up the ectoplasm, and you'd have the figure inside of it. It was just a really fun toy. Super cool.
Super cool. Definitely have memories of seeing these things stacked up at Toys R Us.
Oh, yeah. These are some of the last. Well, no, it was the later Ghosts I think I saw. Some of the last Ghostbuster toys I remember seeing on shelves at our Toys R Us.
Oh yeah, those last 3. Yeah.
All right, and then last, but definitely not least, we gotta talk about the Ecto 1. Were you Ecto 1 elite as a kid, Craig?
Yeah, I mean, I definitely had this one and the Ecto 1A, but I mean, I the crazy thing is like, as a toy collector, and you guys probably all know this, buying and selling toys, finding a complete Ecto 1 has always been kind of hard. Like, you're always missing the chair, you're always missing the claw. And that's why when they re-released it, the Hasbro re-release a couple years ago was really good. Like,
it was really nice.
It was really good. And those things were like on clearance at Walmart, stacked
Yeah.
up, and I was like, been paying like $200-300 for a complete Ecto 1 my entire life,
Yeah.
and now $12 at Walmart. It's
Yeah,
the
the
same
kids
thing.
these days just so easy.
They just don't get it. I think it's such a great toy. It's close enough to what you get in the cartoon. It's fits right in there into the firehouse. Like, as far as vehicles go, I think you can make a good argument that this is a top 80s action figure vehicle.
I would agree. I'm curious Dan's thoughts before I share mine.
I think it's a perfectly a fantastic version of the animated series. And if you just take the animated series out of it altogether, I love the sort of caricature nature of just the Ecto 1 itself. I think it perfectly captures that, the styling of it. It's simple, it's elegant, the figures fit in it, it's got moving parts. I've had multiple vintage ones just from having been a dealer selling toys, buying collections and stuff. I know that it can be a challenge to get one that has A, stickers applied, B, stickers applied correctly. C,
yes.
We've all had the upside down logo.
Upside down. I've had these door stickers are bigger than these, and I've had them in the wrong spots,
or on the hood or whatever else, or just new stickers that aren't even related to Ghostbusters stuff on it. It can also be a challenge to get one that's actually white. White doors that are yellowed or whatever. I did have a chance to mess around with the Hasbro re-release a couple of years ago because they did send me one, and I think there's probably still a short or two on my Instagram of putting it together and putting the stickers and stuff on it.
Super fun.
So yeah, I do agree it is a classic 80s toy vehicle, regardless of where I would personally rank it in my own collection. But it's props to Ghostbusters and to Kenner to getting a complete, talk about world building, play sets, vehicles, all of that stuff. And they really hit everything with Ghostbusters: figures, vehicles, play sets, role play, all of it.
Yeah. And the Ecto 1 is such a this is kind of an overused phrase that you hear everybody
those
saying.
Chrome hubs,
right?
But really is a character.
Back
like the
metal.
The Ecto 1 is in every single episode. It's in the intro. It's the Batmobile. It's more important than the Party Wagon even, which is also an amazing toy.
I would agree. I'd say this is more iconic. And this is truer to Party Wagon, the toy wasn't the same as the Party Wagon on the show.
Sure.
This, even if you talk about reselling toys, people in there barely care about Ghostbusters. They see this on the shelf for sale and they're kind of interested in buying it.
Just in general, we talk about the most famous movie cars, Ecto 1, DeLorean, Millennium Falcon. It's not a car, but
it's a vehicle.
You get what I'm saying.
89 Batmobile.
89 Batmobile.
Of course. Yeah, absolutely. So the big play feature here is you had this wench on the inside and I'll take Peter out. And what I love is the chair could go in here. So you had it stored in the back and then you put it on the top here. But then you have this little hook that, can capture the companion ghost.
Yep. And that was an exclusive ghost. That orange ghost was
this one right here. Yeah. Was the companion ghost for the Ecto 1. And then you would move the exhaust to the is that the right? Yeah. And then it would kind of activate this winch feature that would then pull it in into the car, which I just thought was really cool. But my mom hated this sound.
The clickety clacketing?
She wouldn't really, if I was around, she was like, you can play with it, but do not make it be noisy. So I couldn't really play with it that much as a kid.
Jeez.
Yeah, she didn't like the noises like that. But no, I love this thing. I love the 1A as well. It's the same damn car, just with different stickers. But again, I remember that one, getting it, and we'll talk. Actually, I'll say that stuff when we get to that Ecto 1A. But anyway, I absolutely love this car. And it's another one of those things where I kind of hoard them. Ever since first buying things on eBay, my original one got I lost everything. Then I had the 1A, and then that lost everything. All I had was the husk of it. I think my mom threw it away. So then once I got into eBay in the late 90s, Ecto 1 was one of the first things I got. I actually got two then. I still have one of them. It's on my display over here. And then anytime I come across an Ecto 1 in any shape, I'll usually buy it. So I forget that I buy them. Like one time I opened up a box and I had 2 vintage Ecto ones in it in the garage. Like, oh
Jay,
crap, I forgot I bought these.
You're actually a little worried about you now.
You should be. You really should be.
I was also laughing like in 30 years, all these kids are going to be podcasting, talking about how their mom threw away their Paw Patrol figures. How mad they are at their moms for
They
it.
may be because we finally got rid of the Paw Patrol stuff. But
so
they just
funny.
didn't care about it anymore. They were like, I
Haven't touched HasLab Ecto 1 should be hitting soon, right?
When will that?
I think later this
another
year.
year. I feel. Is it later this year?
Really?
They said it would be Q4. I mean, obviously, I don't know if you guys have heard. There's a lot of economic stress happening in the world.
I got my email saying that the Rattler is coming out soon for the G.I. Joe HasLab. Weren't they about the same time? No?
The Rattler was last Comic-Con, and then the Ecto one was New York Comic-Con. So just a couple months.
Yeah. Okay.
3 months, 4 months,
whatever that is. Yeah, I think it'll be later this year, and then I know Hasbro's going to be out at Ghostbusters Day, and they're teasing some more announcements. So
yeah, excited to see what they bring.
Brand lives on.
Ghostbusters Day. All right, that's it. That is the 86-87 first year of real Ghostbusters. Big heavy hitters to come. But Craig, any final thoughts of the first year of real Ghostbusters by Kenner?
I love it. I mean, I think you could just collect even if you're like a casual Ghostbusters fan, you just get those. And honestly, Hasbro did re-release the Ecto, the 4-figure Slimer and Stay Puft,
and some of the ghosts,
and some. Yeah, I mean, they're
and all of they did Bug Eye Ghost,
the Bug Eye guy,
the toilet,
the toilet,
Fearsome Flesh. Yeah.
Here's what I'll say. Obviously, getting vintage toys is the best. We all love it. But you could spend like $80 and get all that and have an incredible display. And your Ecto one's going to most likely be a lot cleaner.
And it's going to last longer. That new plastic.
The only thing I'll say is
plastic.
The look and feel of the original companion ghosts, I think, holds up a little bit better than the new stuff.
It does. Agreed.
But yeah, I just it's one of those, whether or not, like, even if you're not a diehard Ghostbusters fan, like, this is one of those iconic toy lines. I think it's right up there with Ninja Turtles. And then, there's like there's like a progression. It's in my brain, it's always gone Star Wars, G.I. Joe. This is not an order. This is like a timeline order. Like, it went Star Wars, G.I. Joe, Masters of the Universe. I know Mask and there's other stuff, but it's like Ghostbusters, Ninja Turtles. Like, there's like these 8 or 9 iconic things, and like where you were born on the timeline kind of determines what you grab. Because I was talking about this the other day. Star Wars and Masters, that was for my older cousins. And it kind of scared me because in my head, like, Skeletor and Jabba the Hutt and Ewoks, it was all kind of, and Freddy Krueger, it was all one. I didn't get it. It was all kind of scary. I was like, I need Bill Murray and Slimer. So, but yeah, these are awesome. And obviously the line goes on, and there's some really cool, innovative stuff. But I really, really love this first wave.
Agreed. Yeah, I think just having it sitting here on my desk. I'll flip the camera real quick, just all sitting here and just looking at it all. And I'm just like, it's so much fun. But yeah, no, the first year, so much of it is just seared into my brain. And it's my favorite. It's always my favorite. If I find a series 1 figure, I'll pick them up. If I find the Ecto, if I just find them and they're in okay, even if they're beat up, even if they're like torn to bits, I'm like, you can come live with me now and just live out your retirement years and you'll be safe. And I have literal bins of just first series Winstons around. Like, if I die one day and they just find all the things I've just tucked away, just for safekeeping.
If I die, they're gonna find all my Winstons.
All my Winstons.
All my Winstons. The Geek Dad Life autobiography.
Winston's tough because him and Egon get a lot of plastic cancer. So finding one without plastic cancer is tough in today's day and age. But you're right. They re-release all of these Hasbro and they're dirt cheap and they engineered the wands, like the actual blast effects, to not break. Like my youngest son Alex loved them, and he still has them. And I gave him a Firehouse and a vintage Ecto one, but he got all the re-release Ghostbusters, and they are still in his room with the proton packs unbroken. He plays hard with his toys.
I don't think this would be a controversial take, and unless maybe I'm wrong, but you guys tell me. I think the Ghostbusters retro re-releases are much closer to the originals than the Star Wars retro re-releases.
Oh yeah, I think so.
I love the Star Wars. I love the Star Wars retros. In fact, what I love what they did with Star Wars is what I wanted them to do with Ghostbusters, which is they've expanded the line. Like I've got a Tarkin, and I've got a whatever a Mon Mothma. Well, actually, I don't. It's still in.
Yeah, no. The Target set that's hitting stores right now has Dr. Evazan in it, so you can finally have Walrus Man and Dr. Evazan.
Yeah.
Well,
ceremonial Luke is in there.
Listen, I've gone to 5 Targets like a week for like the last 3 weeks looking for this stupid A New Hope retro set, and
I'm told you have to stay on their app. Stay on the app. Keep
I'm on the app
every morning. Every morning, check that app.
I swiped right. I want a match. I want a ceremonial Luke. But it's really cool. It's really cool. I know people listen. It's really easy to criticize. I think Hasbro does a really good job with most of their stuff. Did you guys see the Marvel Legends stream this morning? It's crazy. It's gonna be very expensive, but it's gonna be crazy. Yeah, but I do love RGB, and again, like, thank you guys for allowing me to come on and talk about the book and stuff. I think if you're like a general animation fan or toy enthusiast, I think there's a lot that you'll get from the book. Really good stories. Kenner seemed like it was a really great place to work in the early to mid 80s, kind of like
how
a frat
much
house.
Cocaine was there?
I don't know, like it didn't seem like SNL drug culture. It kind of felt like we have a story. They would have a pumpkin carving contest every year for Halloween, and they would try to like who could do the most like effed up like HR on fire pumpkins.
Okay.
Yeah, that's just good fun.
Sure, absolutely.
Yeah.
It was like Mad Men. They had alcohol carts in all their offices.
Yes. Actually, though, they had two. Oh God, the names escape me, but one of the lead engineers that literally designed the Highway Haunter and was one of the leads on Ectoplasm, like Kenner had like really strong like female presence, which it was totally a boys club, but they brought in like great designers and it was changing time in the industry, but it was awesome that they had really talented women as well.
Hell yeah. All right, well, Craig, your book's coming out. When is it like officially out?
July 8th. It'll be in stores. Supposedly it'll be at Barnes & Noble, but if you can find a Barnes & Noble.
Hey, we got Barnes & Nobles in Raleigh.
I got Barnes & Noble, yeah.
Well, some of them closed down, but I read that because TikTok has made books fashionable again, they're actually reopening Barnes & Nobles.
We had the first new Barnes & Noble in like 10 years open up in Raleigh. It was a big deal. It was like, they're like, this is the first new Barnes & Noble since 2011 or something.
Dude, I love Barnes & Noble. I really do. July 8th. You can pre-order it now. Get it, wherever you get your books. You can find it. Dark Horse is putting it out. They've been really amazing. It's my first book. I have nothing to compare it to, but I've been told our experience has been nothing short of pleasurable. So that's been great.
Well, that's very nice. There you go.
Hey, look, I hope you can stay humble. I know I would be inserting myself into situations and fabricating situations where I could say things like, I think I should know. I wrote the book.
I wrote the book on this. I told you guys I had to go read a couple chapters because we have been working on this for 3 years. So
it's been forever. I feel I feel it's been more than 3 years. I feel like you told me about this like 7 years ago. I haven't known you that long, but
know you then. I am gonna try to get a literary agent and just oversell myself and try to get I'm gonna try to get like a dumb first look book deal. Like, this guy's the real deal. Look at these numbers. People like this Ghostbusters thing. So no, it's
I-
just nothing but fun. I'm super excited.
I hope you end up on some bestseller list, so I could just always introduce you as like New York Times bestselling author
Oh, yeah,
Craig Goldberg.
I don't think we'll be making the New York Times, but
Maybe
when
like Amazon Hot 100 or something. I
listen,
don't
when
know.
it went on sale, we were like number one in multiple categories for the pre-orders. But it's like number one in antiques and collectibles based on movies. So it's like there's a lot of subcategories.
Yeah, number one with Ghost in the title. Yeah,
yes. Exactly.
Number one bookseller and with Ghost in the Tile, Craig Goldberg. Super excited for you, my friend. This episode will release next week, I think, before your big Ghostbusters Day show. I'm assuming it's sold out already by this point, right? There's no point in trying to promote that. But anyway,
Let's
excited
hope
for that
so.
show.
It's
Let's
almost,
hope so. Okay.
Let's hope so.
It's close. Okay.
Hey man, it's a tough economy. These tickets, like I said, it's expensive to rent out a comedy club in New York City. On a Friday night.
Is.
No, we're gonna have a lot of fun. We got a big
Oh,
Ghostbusters Day kickoff party in New York on June 6th. If you hear this before then, you want to come, all the information's on the internet.
Yeah, I'll put links in the
Jay will be
for
there.
all this stuff. I will be there. I will make a guest appearance. Like, hey, and then that's it.
Get off stage, Jay.
It's like, okay. All right. Dan, you just released a really fun episode today on your YouTube channel.
Chronoform. Yeah, the old watch robot, transforming watch robot guy thing. But there's a whole toy line involved with that as well.
That's what I loved. You had this whole. Did you draw that on a whiteboard or something? That little map thing?
Yeah, it was just a flow chart that I was like, I need this for my own, just to keep this crap straight.
But I don't know if like it just kept coming up and just was like. It helped me try and keep track of things as I was watching you go through it.
Don't parse it too like. Don't try to get into it. It is not actually technically accurate.
But anyway, really fun episode. Any other things coming up for you that people should be excited about? Any appearances?
What do we got next week? We just shot today. History of Robotech the movie.
Oh,
yeah, 1986
Okay.
feature film.
Oh,
That was
sounds
only
fun.
shown in test markets in Texas.
yeah, I didn't know it existed,
Yeah,
so that's
exactly.
cool. Fun.
So,
Did you
going
get a
back to
copy of
Robotech.
it?
What's that?
Did you get a copy of it as part of your research? Or?
No. It's
Oh.
on YouTube.
It's okay. All right.
Well, a recreation of it is on YouTube.
Oh.
Dun, dun, dun.
All
There's
right.
a tease for you.
There you go. All right. Well, this is the first episode of this Real Ghostbusters series. For those that really dug our Star Wars series, Dan has found some stuff that we will get into at some point in time in the future, an additional bonus episode for Power of the Force 2. And it's incredible. I can't wait to jump into that.
Can I interrupt you real quick so I can
Yeah,
compliment you two gentlemen?
Oh, sure.
This
always.
Power of the Force series is so fun.
It's great.
Because nothing could be further from what my interests were at the time. Even when the special editions came out, I remember my brother dragging my whole family to Empire Strikes Back, and I was like, God, this is so lame. I didn't really get back into Star Wars till about 8th grade, and then obviously I was all up on the Phantom Menace hype. I've been walking past Power of the Force at every toy store and every toy show for my entire life. I've never really. It's like those are the cheap Star Wars toys in the 90s, and everybody bought them because they were going to pay for college, and just like the Death of Superman comic. Having said all that, it is fascinating. The research is amazing. The guests have been great, and I'm thoroughly enjoying it. So
Thank you. Appreciate it.
It was really it was such a fun series.
It
Such a fun
is. It is. We've talked about the demographics of Ghostbusters and the timeline and where you came in at the 80s, where you were born, sort of determined what your interests were going to be. But 95, it hit just right for the kids that were coming up, the oldies that were sort of on their way out, coming back in, whatever. It was just this perfect confluence of interests and people collecting action figures. Just a fun time.
Generations came together. Gen X and millennials were just getting along in the same toy aisles. It was great.
That's great.
I mean, it really is amazing. And it makes me maybe this is again my weird existential crisis, but like imagine being like the 55-year-old dude who loved Star Wars when it came out and collected the toys. And then it went away and like you got older and lived your life. And then being like 70 being like excited about Power of the Force and being like, it'll never get better than this. You know, like I think about Star Wars as a generational thing. And
Sure.
it's not, dude, here's the thing about we can cap it off if you want here. Ghostbusters, kids who like Ghostbusters now like it because their dads are making them like it. Sorry, Jay. For whatever reason, and I personally think that Ghostbusters has the opportunity with like new animated show and animated movie to really recapture kids' imagination.
Sure, absolutely.
But it is a franchise that is very much bucketed with a certain age group fan base.
Mhm.
Star Wars, you know, you guys were at Star Wars Celebration. Everybody loves Star Wars. Everybody has a different entry point. So I just find the Power of the Force stuff really fascinating. It's actually, it's making me, I think I'm going to be buying some of these vehicles.
Oh, okay, Craig. I can't wait for when you send me a picture of some collection you went and picked up somewhere.
I did it. No. I've listen. I love Star Wars.
It's gonna happen. I know you, Craig. I got a feeling I'm gonna get a text one day of just this collection.
I will say this: the Toy Otter episode was amazing because he's great.
Yeah,
he's like an encyclopedic mind. Yeah.
Well, I felt bad. I wanted to send him condolences. He's going over all these like stuff that happened in his life, and it was like we got a whole history of him before we even got to like series 2 of Power of the Force.
Yeah, you should have Jay send you the full episode sometime.
Yeah, it's a 7-hour cut. There's a 7-hour cut.
7 hours, yeah.
I love it. And then my family moved to a different town in Texas. He's great. We've had him on the show.
It's incredible.
He's so like. There's very few people I would consider important to the history of toys. Dan, you're one of them. Toy Otter's one of them. Jay, I think you're probably you're getting there.
I'm like fringe at best. But anyway, on that note, let's close this thing out.
Is that all you had to say about how great we were, Craig? I just want to make sure.
I thought there'd be more.
I have imposter syndrome just talking to you guys. I love what you do.
Weirdo.
You're right. I made that up.
All right, Greg, thank you so much. Second time on the show, by the way. It's the second time.
I'm the first returning guest.
No, you're not.
Okay,
not at all. Not even close. But we're glad you're here. No, I'm kidding. Thank you so much. Thanks to Allison who did the research for this episode. Get Craig's book. Watch Stan's videos. We'll see you all next time. Hasta luego and goodbye.